Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is ChicksJS and I give you lots of cool videos in business, entertainment and lifestyle. If this is your first time tuning into my channel, welcome. Please kindly press the little red button on the right. It's the subscribe button and please join our family. Like I said, lots of cool videos in fashion especially, which is what I'll be talking about today. So sequel to my previous video where I have told you how to grow your fashion brand, and the next one I've told you different tools that I use to grow my fashion brand as well. That's my last fashion video that I did. Today I decided to talk about something more exciting, something more interesting, something more like, you know, this is now the real deal. Let's get our hands dirty. And I'm going to talk about fashion production. Now, after a while in my business, I decided to introduce making my own unique pieces, which is also very important as a fashion brand. It is important that you start increasing your product offering at some point in your business. I'm not saying when you start just delving and start making clothes, but as you go, you begin to identify these are the things my customers want, and sometimes you just want to give them certain exclusive pieces. And if you're like me, fashion production is an option. So here are the things that I think you should know before going into fashion production. Okay, so before you even think of fashion production in the first place, you need to think of your samples. Now, there are different ways to go about this. First, you might have a prototype being an already existing style that you might want to revamp, enhance, or just use as a benchmark to show your production factory what you're about to make. Another way is the simplest way, which is to sketch. When you have an idea in your head, the easiest thing to do is to sketch. I know some of us cannot draw, but at least whatever sketch you can do, just do it first of all, just so you don't forget. And then you can give it to a professional who can either sketch or do fashion illustration, which are like more vivid forms of drawing and sketches. Or if you want to switch it up, you can do like 3D designs of the actual picture, just so that you get the actual the full picture of the design that you are trying to make. So getting your sampling right involves either having a prototype or any form of image that depicts what you're about to do. It can also be like a mood board. Sometimes what I do is I just put pieces together and tell them, oh, I like this element in this dress, I like this element, and I like to put it together. But the most important thing is to have a representation, a physical representation of these items that you're about to make. Secondly, you need to identify the fabric that you're going to use for your design. I cannot overemphasize the importance of this. Guys, you can have a beautiful design and it will all go to shit because of the fabric that you choose to use. So it is important that you understand the type of fabric that you are going to use. When you are speaking to the factory that will do your work, make sure that you compare fabric, you do fabric swatches. And one advice that I will give you, a lot of them like to use like calico and other things for the first phase of the design. Fair enough. But before you go into production, ensure that you produce items in the exact fabric that you want to use. I'll give you an example. I once produced leggings for a Nigerian brand here. Now, we had agreed, we had done the size chart. Everything about that design was already done. We had done a sample and it was perfect. However, we didn't do the sample in the exact fabric that we're meant to use. Now, the fabric that we used for the sample was very stretchy. Everything was perfect. However, when we were buying the fabric for the leggings, the main production, the fabric we decided to go with, because I didn't really understand how important it is to get the exact fabric, we got another fabric, and it so happened that the elasticity of the fabric that we got was so much more shorter or smaller than the one we used for the sampling. This made all the sizes run small because we had done the measurements such that it was for that fabric. So even if it stretches to a point, you can tell what size it will be. But at this point, it didn't stretch as much as we had anticipated because we had used the wrong fabric. And this literally messed up the entire design. I mean, it was still wearable, but nonetheless, it affected it because a lot of times we had to tell people to go a size up because the item ran snug. So to avoid all of this, please sample in the exact fabric that you would like to produce. Number 3, you need to create a tech pack. Now, a tech pack is just kind of like a guide. It is something that has all the information about the design you're about to do. So, a size 12, the measurement of the arm, the sleeve round, the leg, the everything about your design. It is the blueprint of your entire design. Everything goes in the tech pack. Every measurement, every information. In fact, if there's a fault in the production, a tech pack can save you, because you will be able to tell the person, this is what we agreed in the tech pack. So that tech pack, it is very, very important that every information, as much as you can, don't leave out anything in the tech pack. Create all your size charts, measurements, everything. In fact, zips, buttons, packaging. Everything that you want about your design must be in the tech pack. Your labels, your tags, everything must be there. Whoever handles your tech pack, the person doesn't have to have met you to know what you want. They literally need to take that tech pack and they will be able to dissect your design. They will know everything about your design. It is the blueprint of your design. No production without a tech pack. It is very important that you have a detailed tech pack. Some people might not call it tech pack. It might just be one paper that has all your information, but as much as you can, give your production factory all the information you need about your design, so both of you agree already that this is the template and this is the guideline that we are going to use for the entire production. Number 4, it is important to have a production meeting. Yes, a lot of you were referred to factories by other people. Don't just go there, carry the things, give them, and have just one. Have a proper production meeting whereby you sit down and you actually iron out the modalities. I'm talking timelines. I'm talking how long the sample will take. I'm talking, in the event that you don't like the samples, how many more prototypes are you going to make, and what is going to happen if anything goes wrong with the production. Like, you need to be able to have a sit down about what your production will be. Remember, a lot of times you are putting in a lot of money, because most factories, their MOQs are very high. But even if you are just doing 10-20 pieces, the way you start is very, very important. So please ensure that you are serious and you have that meeting. Yes, I know now post-COVID we are all learning to do meetings virtually. If you are going to have a virtual meeting, please be ready, have all your information handy, and write things out. The production meeting is literally as important as that tech pack. It is important that both of you understand each other, so things don't start popping up in the course of the production. It is very, very important. And this leads me to the next point, which is that you must have an agreement. An agreement that, which is like a memorandum of understanding, however little it is, and whatever NDAs you are going to put in place, because sometimes a lot of brands don't want people to know that this is the factory that I use. So you don't want to use a factory where tomorrow they are putting your name, oh, we designed for this brand. Some people don't like it, some people don't mind, but what are your terms? You need to iron it out. If you don't want them to make any certain, if you don't want them to make some sort of disclosure, please make it clear in your contract. It is also important to put what happens if anybody defaults in terms of the production, be it you or the factory. What this NDA does is that the contract does is that everybody conforms, because anybody who defaults, they already know the consequences, and both parties know that we have things in writing. And in the event that there's a disagreement, you can go back and reference the information that you've given. I will also advise that your contract, the tech pack, is attached to your contract, just so that you have a full folder regarding this. Even if your friend owns the factory, it is nice to have a level of seriousness in that contract, or understanding that we both know that this is business and this is what is binding us together as we work. Kindly note that you can always update these contracts, because sometimes you do more than one project, and for different projects you might have different terms. It is also important that even the packaging is there, everything is there, because you can decide, you can finish your production and they can just send you your things in one bag, or they might have packed it shabbily. So let them know the level of, commitment, or whatever you want them to put into your production. Both of you need to agree. All the information must be in the contract. So contracts are very important, and so also you must do your production meetings. Those are also equally important, just so that you agree and you know that yes, we are now on the same page and we are ready to execute this project. Okay, so I think this is number 5 now. So the next thing is you need to know your costing. Now, the costing is very important because some people are actually going to ask you how much you intend to sell, even at the point where they're sampling. I personally don't feel the need to tell them because I think that kind of guides how much fabric they use and stuff like that. I personally just like to choose my fabric or send them fabric, better yet, just if I know that this is the type of fabric, just so they don't have to ask me that. Because a lot of people, when you tell them your retail price is $60, they just want to make something $30 for you. So I don't want that. I wouldn't advise that. But most factories, especially if you're just starting out, they ask you how much you want to sell. However, your costing is very important and it is up to you. And one thing that guides your costing is knowing where you want to sit in the market. By this I mean, do you want to be mass market? Do you want to be premium, or do you want to be luxury? All of these determine the price that you are going to be as well, because you cannot say you are luxury and you are having the mass market price. There's a certain premium added to luxury items, and that is what will guide your finishing, your packaging. All of these little elements will contribute to how much you intend to sell your things and what are the elements that you put into your design to be able to justify the price that you're selling. So costing is as important as even your entire production. What is the point of going into a production if you don't know how much you are going to sell it? So whether your price is determined by the amount you spend on the sample, or your price is determined by where you want to sit in the market. Do you want to be luxury? Do you want to be mass? Or are you just in it for business to make money? Identify how you want to cost, how much you want to spend on cost, and how much you want to retail these items. Are you going to have wholesale prices, or are you going to have like just regular stockist prices? This costing is very, in fact, one of the most important things before you go into production. So try and identify this element. Like I said, you can decide to leave your costing till your samples are ready, but at some point, either before you delve into the production or at the stage where you're sampling, your costing is very important. Determine the amount you want to spend on cost and your recommended retail price. Work it out such that you know that you are going into this production and eventually it will turn out to be a profitable business. Finally, at the point where you're sampling, you need to know how you intend to sell the items. Do you have a shop? Are you creating an online store? Are you going to have stockists? Or are you just going to retail from your home, for instance? So identifying where you are going to sell is also really important. How do you intend to sell these items? So this is also something you need to consider before you go into production, because this can also determine your numbers. For instance, if you are selling from your house, how many pieces do you want to do? If you are going to give it to different retailers, how many are you going to give to each retailer? Do you get what I mean? Or if you are going to give it to stockists as well, how many are you going to do? How many sizes are you going to do? So knowing where you are going to sell it, or how you are going to, market or, put out your item is very, very important. So you need to consider that at the point where you are sampling, because a lot of times, if you are smart before going into production, when you have your samples, you already go and show it to your potential stockists or retailers or whoever you want to give, if you are using third party, just so that from the sampling stage they have a look at it and they tell you, oh, these are the designs that we want to take in, or we don't like these. Or sometimes they can even give you heads up as to what to change and what they want you to alter, and this can kind of guide how you the finishing of your production or what pieces you decide to churn out. Because some people actually do samples, show people around, and just only produce the favorites, the ones that most of their stockists decide that they want. So knowing where you are going to sell the items, or who are the people that will help you promote or sell this item, is also really important before you delve into producing millions of items or hundreds of items, as the case may be. So guys, that will be all for today. These are the things that I think you must consider, you must understand, and you must put in place before you delve into any production. Now, in my next video, I'll be telling you how to identify factories to work with home and abroad. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, now is the time to do so. If you're a fashion girl like me, then you want to be hanging out here where we can kind of share our nuggets, business nuggets. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in. My name is ChicksJS. I am ChicksJS everywhere on social media. Please feel free to connect with me. Share this video with anyone who you think might be interested in starting fashion production, or if you're interested as well, then welcome, gang. Please give me a thumbs up in the comment sections. I bring you lots of videos like this and others in business and entertainment and lifestyle and all the good stuff. So thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in my next video. Please subscribe. Thanks. Bye.